100 ant facts 1. Ants don't have lungs. They breathe through tiny holes in their bodies called spiracles. 2. An ant can lift up to 50 times its own weight. That's like a human lifting a car. 3. All worker ants are female. Males live only to mate and die shortly after. 4. Ants talk using pheromones. They leave chemical trails to guide others or warn about danger. 5. The largest ant in the world is Dinoponera gigantea, reaching up to 5 centimeters in length. 6. Ants can calculate the shortest route to food. They update their paths based on efficiency. 7. Some ants go to war. They raid other colonies, steal larvae, and raise them as slaves. 8. Ants have a social stomach. They store food to share with others, not just for themselves. 9. Formica fusca ants can learn. In experiments, they memorize scents associated with rewards. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like. It really helps me grow and create more videos like this. Thanks so much for your support. 10. Some ants can explode. Calabopsis explodens self-destructs, releasing toxic goo to stop enemies. 11. Ants don't have ears. They sense vibrations through their legs and antennae. 12. There are over 14,000 known ant species, but scientists estimate the real number could exceed 20,000. 13. Some ants farm fungus. Leafcutter ants feed chewed-up leaves to cultivate underground fungal crops. 14. Ants can survive falls from any height. Their tiny mass and low terminal velocity keep them from injury. 15. The queen ant can live up to 30 years, while workers live just a few weeks to months. 16. Ants can swim. Some species paddle through water or trap air bubbles to breathe underwater. 17. They clean each other constantly. Grooming helps prevent the spread of infections in the colony. 18. Some ants herd aphids. They protect and milk them for sugary honeydew. 19. Ants use their own bodies to build bridges and rafts. Army ants have been seen making living structures. 20. Some desert ants, like Cataglyphus, can navigate using the sun and count their own steps to find their way home. 21. Ants have 2 stomachs. One is for personal digestion. The other is for sharing food with others. 22. The bullet ant, Paraponera clavata, has the most painful sting in the insect world. It feels like being shot, hence the name. 23. Ants can form super colonies. One such colony of Argentine ants stretched over 6,000 kilometers across Europe. 24. The smallest ant species is Cerebra atoma, measuring just 0.8 millimeters. 25. Ants evolved from wasp-like ancestors around 140 million years ago. 26. Some ants play dead to avoid being attacked. They go completely still until the danger passes. 27. Ants leave chemical maps so other ants can follow precise paths to food. 28. Certain ants mimic smells to sneak into enemy colonies. It's chemical espionage. 29. Ants have compound eyes made of many tiny lenses, giving them a mosaic-like view of the world. 30. Some ants store fat, water, and food in their bodies. These are called honeypot ants, and they act as living pantries. 31. Ant colonies can have millions of members, all working together like one superorganism. 32. Ants use their antennae like multi-tools. They touch, smell, and even taste with them. 33. The brain of an ant has around 250,000 neurons. That's tiny compared to humans, but highly efficient for their size. 34. Some ants recruit others to help carry large food items, using vibrational signals or pheromones. 35. Army ants are constantly on the move. They don't build permanent nests. Their colony is mobile. 36. Ants can detect earthquakes before they happen, possibly sensing ground vibrations or chemical changes. 37. A single queen can lay thousands of eggs per day. She's essentially an egg-laying machine. 38. Ants don't sleep like we do. They take short, frequent power naps throughout the day and night. 39. Some ants enslave entire colonies. Polyergus ants raid other nests and steal pupae to raise as workers. 40. Ants can recognize their own nest mates by scent. If another ant smells wrong, it's attacked immediately. 41. Ants can cooperate to carry objects hundreds of times their size. It's like 50 tiny forklifts working in sync. 42. Ants use tandem running to teach each other. One ant leads, another follows, learning the route. 43. Some species of ants are fully blind, especially those that live underground. 44. Ants can be infected by zombie fungi, which hijack their bodies to spread spores. 45. Fire ants form floating rafts with their bodies during floods, protecting the queen and brood. 46. Ants outnumber humans by a staggering amount. Estimates suggest over 20 quadrillion ants on Earth. 47. Ants can spread diseases and parasites within colonies if hygiene breaks down. 48. A colony survival depends on balance. Too many soldiers and not enough workers can lead to collapse. 49. Ant queens can choose whether to lay male or female eggs based on the colony's needs. 50. Ants have been found on every continent, except Antarctica. 51. Ants can recognize dead nest mates. They detect a chemical called oleic acid and remove the body from the nest. 52. Some ants build cemeteries. Dead bodies are piled in designated zones to avoid contamination. 53. Ants can form symbiotic relationships with trees, fungi, beetles, and even butterflies. 54. Certain ants build ventilation systems in their nests to control temperature and airflow. 55. In hot deserts, silver ants, Cataglyphus bombacina, reflect sunlight off their bodies to stay cool. 56. Ants use vibrational signals by tapping their bodies or rubbing legs to communicate underground. 57. Worker ants can change roles during their lifetime. For example, a nurse ant can become a forger later on. 58. The queen controls the colony's social structure through pheromones that affect worker behavior. 59. Ants can survive being frozen, entering a suspended state until conditions improve. 60. Some ants glide through the air. Arboreal ants can steer their fall back toward the tree trunk to avoid predators. 61. Ants can rescue injured nest mates. Megaponera annuales ants drag wounded soldiers back to the nest for treatment. 62. Some ants use tools. They've been seen using sand or debris to carry liquid food back to the nest. 63. Ants can farm scale insects, just like aphids, feeding on their sugary secretions. 64. A queenless ant colony can survive for weeks or even months, but eventually collapses without new workers. 65. Ants have been used in medicine. Some indigenous tribes use soldier ants' jaws as natural stitches. 66. Ants can sense magnetic fields. It's believed they use this ability for navigation, like birds. 67. When an ant dies, its body starts releasing signals that trigger removal from the colony, even if it was healthy moments before. 68. Some ant queens mate once and store sperm for life, fertilizing eggs for up to 20+ years. 69. Ants don't have blood like ours. They have hemolymph, a clear fluid that transports nutrients. 70. The death of a queen doesn't immediately kill the colony, but over time, no new workers means inevitable decline. 71. Some ant species lay trap jaws. Their mandibles snap shut at up to 200 kilometers per hour, faster than the blink of an eye. 72. Trapjaw ants can launch themselves into the air by snapping their jaws against the ground. 73. Ants can form living walls, chains, and even bridges using only their bodies, pure bioengineering. 74. The weaver ant, Ecophylla, stitches leaves together using silk produced by their larvae. 75. Ants don't rely on sight as much as humans. Most of their world is experienced through touch and scent. 76. Some ants vote on new nest locations using collective decision-making and quorum sensing. 77. Slave-making ants raid neighboring colonies to capture brood and force them into servitude. 78. Ants can be fooled by chemicals. Some parasites produce scents that trick ants into feeding them. 79. There are fossilized ants dating back over 100 million years, perfectly preserved in amber. 80. Ants are part of every known terrestrial food chain, either as predators, scavengers, or prey. 81. Some ants raid spider webs and steal prey without getting caught, stealth missions, insect style. 82. The Dracula ant, Mystrium camilli, holds the record for the fastest animal movement, jaw snap in 0.00015 seconds. 83. Invasive ant species like the Argentine ant can displace entire native ecosystems. 84. Some ants engage in chemical warfare, spraying formic acid to defend their territory. 85. Ants can become zombified by parasitic worms, which alter their behavior to complete their life cycle. 86. In some species, workers can become pseudo-queens and lay eggs if the real queen dies. 87. Ants communicate urgency by increasing pheromone intensity or movement speed. 88. Myrmecologists, scientists who study ants, often use baiting and tracking methods to observe colonies in the wild. 89. Ants have inspired algorithms in computer science. Ant colony optimization is used in AI, pathfinding, and logistics. 90. Some ants protect certain plants in exchange for food or shelter, forming a mutualistic alliance. 91. Some ants play possum, faking death to avoid detection during attacks. 92. Ants can sense CO2 levels and avoid poorly ventilated spaces when building nests. 93. In leafcutter colonies, smaller workers clean and process leaves, while larger soldiers defend the foraging lines. 94. Ants can spread across islands by rafting on debris or floating vegetation. They're accidental sailors. 95. Some ant species have janitor caste whose only job is to clean the colony. 96. Ants use vibrational cues in the ground to locate food and signal danger. 97. Colonies can vote out malfunctioning queens by starving them or ejecting them from the nest. 98. Some queens can start new colonies without mating, using a process called parthenogenesis. 99. Ants help aerate soil, making them vital for healthy ecosystems, like tiny natural gardeners. 100. Despite their size, ants make up an estimated 20% of all terrestrial animal biomass on Earth. That's more than all wild birds and mammals combined.